Honestly, I got analysis paralysis for the last 3 years trying to invest because I was like, "Oh, I have to wholesale. I have to wholesale. I have to wholesale. I have to, you know, build up this cash in order to invest in these properties." And that's such a lie. You don't.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, I am super excited because we got a Beers and Deals meetup tonight, downtown San Diego. And we got not one, but we got three podcast guests in town and are going to be attending our meetup tonight. So, super excited for that. And I got a special guest. I got someone who just came out from St. Louis, Missouri. I got the Dreamhouse girl, Bree Fleschner. Bree, welcome to the show.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on, and we connected because I saw you were connecting with Pace. You're in his Sub 2 community. I saw you guys collabed on some content together, and then we somehow touched base, and now you're in town, and excited for it. But I got to ask you, you're from St. Louis, Missouri, but then you were in Arizona with Pace, and then now you're back in St. Louis. What's with all the back and forth?
Oh, man, I swear I'm just like a little nomad. Kinda just go where the wind takes me. I feel like at this
Mhm.
point, yeah, I don't even know. It's back in 2019, that's when I ended up moving out to Scottsdale area, was staying out there for 4 years.
Love Scottsdale.
Yes, love the city, love the town. I always knew that it was a place I wanted to be, but not somewhere I wanted to plant my
Mm.
roots, if that makes sense.
You wanna raise the family out in St. Louis.
Yeah,
You can
it's
find
there's
me in St. Louis,
yeah,
where they gonna play rain all day.
there you
Okay.
go.
What do you love
Yeah,
about
okay,
St.
Nelly.
Louis?
Honestly, it's you gotta ask someone who is actually from St. Louis. Like, there's something that always ties it back, and I swear it's just the community and just family. It's hard. It's easy to leave, but it's so much easier to
You
go
got family
back
there.
because, yeah, my
I get it.
entire family, extended
Okay,
family, my
okay.
cousins,
Yeah.
it's a very family-oriented city. I live in the suburbs, so I can't say I, like, live in this St. Louis city.
Let me ask you a question. If you fell in love with a guy and it checked all your boxes and he was like, he had a business and he's in, Miami, and he's like, "Hey, Bree, like, I really wanna raise a family with you, but, I can't leave my business." Would that be a deal breaker?
Honestly, I don't think so because my goal has always been to have properties all over the US because I love traveling and I never really like knew where I wanted to live for sure. But the end goal was to build up these properties so I can travel and like with my future family and we can stay in these properties for whoever knows how long and I can live wherever, whenever I want,
There you
if that
go.
makes
Any
sense.
any guys
So
listening to the podcast right now, Bree's mobile. So there we go. I love it. I got a question for you though. So when I came in the office this morning, I had just got to the gym and I'm in the office. I'm cranking some Drake really loud because it was before the rest of the team got here. And you mentioned before we started recording that there's a little drama with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I have no idea what's going on with that.
yeah, I feel
Fill
like
me in with the tea.
I'm not the right one to ask because I just hear from the grapevine, but man, I can't believe you don't know. You're living under the rock essentially,
Sometimes
bro?
I don't
Like,
have time to follow all the tea. I follow the stuff in my industry and what's kind of moving the needle or moving the ball down the field. But some of the other stuff, I just don't have time for it
yeah.
sometimes.
No, I feel you there. I don't know exactly what is going on. I just heard Kendrick Lamar just dropped a whole rap dissing Drake. And it's very interesting. You should probably go check it out because man, it's raw for
Okay,
sure. It's
okay.
good. It's good.
There's got to be some sort of like,
Some
what's the
beef.
reasoning? You
Oh
knew
my
a little
god,
bit.
there's
Come on, tell us
beef.
something.
Yeah, I
Give
don't
us.
know what's going on. I think they're just dissing on each other back and forth, but man, I think, Kendrick Lamar is gonna take this battle. I
Okay,
don't
okay.
know.
We'll
Don't
we'll
quote me on that
we'll,
though.
we'll have to look into it. So, Bree, you're doing a lot of real estate investing. You're investing in Airbnbs. You're investing in boutique hotels now, and you do a lot of things. And you're in Pace's Sub 2 community. Give us a snapshot of kind of what you're doing in the real estate space, and I'd love to dig into some of your stories from there.
Yeah, short-term rental, I'd say is my expertise. I've had a long vision of building up, again, those rental properties across the US. I love traveling, so I kind of just like thought of the idea of like killing two birds with one stone. I'm going to focus on the short-term rental portfolio in those different areas. but I can stay in those places instead of just buying a single family home, like a vacation home, you know? So I'll rent those out and, you know, block them off when I want to go and stay. But little thing different about my properties is they're actually all mainly targeted to women. They're very,
Really?
very themed,
Okay. Give me an example.
pretty pink and girly and floral and sparkles everywhere and just it's fun. It's kind of my first one that I have. It's in Scottsdale. It's called the Desert Dreamhouse. So yes, they all have will have names to them.
We manage a short-term rental out there. Actually, well, 2. One of them is my property, and then another one that we manage for, a friend of ours, a client of ours, and that one's called Desert Dream. Very similar,
Ooh, I see,
and
this
it's got a
is
cactus
you know
emoji.
what? I think after this talk, I'm gonna go hop on the phone with, like, an attorney and start trademarking
Uh-oh.
my name and stuff like that
Uh-oh. Don't sue
because,
us. Don't sue
man,
us, Bree.
we'll see. No, that's yeah, so that's kinda the end goal is building up these really cool, unique properties, kind of just focusing on that one clientele. I mean, the idea kinda sparked from, like, think of, like, a good hotel that has quality guests, you know, like, their brand. Well, that's what I wanna do, but it's gonna be specifically targeted to women. They trust my property. They've been in one. They know what they got. They love great customer service, great design. They've had a blast. It's still affordable for them. And, you know, bachelorettes, birthday parties, girls' trips, those don't go out of style, you know? So the constant repeating of guests is gonna happen more and more because they trust my brand. They trust a dream house. And since I'm not just in Scottsdale, gonna be in Nashville, Florida. Like, they're gonna wanna travel with their friends and try almost, like, hit up every single one and kinda, like, make it as, like, a fun, like, every year we're gonna go try a different dream house,
Mhm.
you know?
This is a unique thing. I think a lot of real estate investors would be, hesitant to do this model because now you're shutting off a lot of the males, and the males might have a little bit of money too. So, from a demand perspective, how is have you found that you actually get a lot more demand than if you kinda had it marketed to both genders?
You know, there's 2 positives by doing this. I'm focusing on targeted, like, heavy travel destination locations. So, like, Scottsdale, Nashville, huge bachelorette parties. I mean, how many times have you been to a bachelor party and it's been a little rowdy?
Yeah, definitely, I would say bachelor parties tend to be more rowdy than maybe a bachelor, but I've seen some pretty rowdy bachelorette parties when I'm out and about.
I
Some of
don't
those
know,
girls get a little
man.
wild.
The amount of things I hear from other people, it's insane.
I
You
see what
know,
you're saying.
girls drink less. When they're angry, they don't
Less
punch.
testosterone levels.
Yeah, they, don't punch holes in the wall,
My guy friends
you
don't
know?
punch holes in the wall
Uh,
either.
yeah, and honestly, they're more likely to not bring other people
Mhm,
home, and they're less likely to smoke
mhm.
and
That
just,
makes sense.
like, everything, kind of. They just treat the property with a little bit more care, and I literally have no issues. I don't think I've ever had one bad guest yet of being in the space for 3 years, knock on wood.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And so give us an example of like some of these themes that you're doing. So you mentioned a lot of pink. What other things that do you have that kind of make this experience unique?
Yeah, so it's really just like, the design, but also I do, a lot of cool murals, photo opportunities for them, so that's another cool way to market, you know? Everyone wants to be Instagram famous nowadays, and so they'll take a picture, post it, tag me, and again, that's free marketing. Vanities are amazing, having an actual space, like a bar space for them to get ready with mirrors and all that. That's a really cool, feature to have, like, they love that.
We stayed at a Airbnb in Nashville before for a couple conferences. The STR WealthCon actually is actually out there, hosted by Mike Sugar, and we've gone 3 years in a row now. And one of our favorite places to stay in Nashville, downtown on Broadway, has exactly what you said. It's like a bar with like 3 mirrors and stools for girls to get ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge plus, you know? I mean, if you have 12 girls staying and there's only 3 bathrooms, you know,
Hmm.
it's a girl thing, I guess.
Sure.
We need those nice, like, lit up mirrors, get our makeup right and perfect, cause yeah.
Okay. And so, what else are you doing? So you're doing the hotel thing, Is the hotel gonna be branded towards women only?
No.
Okay.
Great question there. That's gonna still be more family oriented. I do get to have a say in the design.
Mhm.
So we are talking about possibly putting a 2 or even maybe 3 rooms that are kind of fitting that, like, girly theme because, the location, it's, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is a high travel destination location for bachelorette parties from Chicago, just in that area. So, I get to use that and be able to promote that hotel with my brand as well, so that kinda gives the hotel a plus of brand awareness, but we're thinking about doing a pickleball
Whoa, I
court.
like that. I'm a big fan of the pickleball court.
Yeah, right? You have to these days. Oh, it's so much fun.
We have one at my Scottsdale, luxury Airbnb, and just by putting pickleball court in the listing title, the revenue went up 30%
That's
overnight.
insane. Yeah.
And, we're actually putting a pickleball court in actually, before you came in, I was finalizing the design, with the team for our pickleball court, and, we're putting a pickleball court custom in our, our Lake Chelan hotel, and it's gonna be sick. It's gonna have the logos on it, and then it's gonna be, like, black with, like, gold, stripes, and so, like, the aerial view and the photography is gonna be sick, but this is also, like, a family area, right? So a lot of people go there for vacation with their kids and all that sort of thing, so I think, the pickleball courts will be kind of a nice amenity, a little value add, if you would, so I'm a fan of it.
100%. Yeah, I'm all about the value added for sure. Yeah, it's like changing the whole game at this point. Like, if you don't have those cool features, you're just gonna get left behind almost.
Mhm.
Just be basic.
So, I'm curious, what were you doing before you got into real estate investing? Because you've been doing this for a few years now. But what were you up to before real estate investing, and how did the whole real estate idea come to fruition?
Honestly, it's always been kind of part of the end game to build up rental properties, have a portfolio, have residual income. Like I learned that from a very young age to have that, to build that legacy wealth. Because I truthfully, if I could have the world perfect, I would be a stay at home mom. But I also love to work. I love to get my hands dirty and everything. So just being, knowing, having security in having those rental properties. They're increasing in value, they're cash flowing, so I wouldn't have to spend my time at a 9 to 5 job. And I always knew I wanted to own my own business as well. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, and so they kind of showed me what that looked like as a child. So having my mom around all the time and being able to experience vacations with them all the time wherever, and almost having, I mean, they taught us to live comfortably, even though they're successful. So I didn't know we were rich, which was a really nice, trait they gave us too, to be humble for what we have. But yeah, so I'm blanking on your question. Where did I go with
What
that?
were you doing before?
Yeah, so I guess it was just kind of being led into what do I wanna do as a business owner? What does that look like? So I kind of just dabbled in a bunch of different things to finally get to where I am today. Again, always knew I wanted to own property. So it started off with, you know, I guess really just trying new things. I always served.
Okay, nice.
I would always waitress, and honestly am still today waitressing for fun.
Okay,
Just
I
a
love
couple
that.
nights whenever I want.
What kind of
Yeah.
restaurant is it?
It's a higher end restaurant.
Okay, what kind of
So,
food?
lobsters, fillets,
Oh, very
steaks.
nice.
Yeah, it's seafood. Really, really nice, actually.
I have a lot of respect for that and servers in the industry. I always take care of them when I'm out. I worked one day, in a restaurant. I was 18 years old. I was in college, and, this is before I got into cell phone sales. I started selling cell phones in college, and then went on to sell cars. But before the cell phones, I worked one day in a restaurant. My roommate was working in an Italian restaurant. He's like, "Hey, dude, I get you a job here." So I did it for one day, and I remember on my first afternoon working, my first evening, the table, and I was just like a busboy, I think, and the table asked me to box their pizza up. And I remember bringing a box out, and I was boxing the pizza up in front of this whole family. It was like a husband and wife and like 4 kids, and it was like all of them. I think it was 6 people, and I took their pizza, massive pizza, and, I dropped it all over the floor.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the guy was so nice. He was like, "Don't worry about it. We'll still take it. We'll still take."
Stop! Oh
Yeah,
my
and it was so I
gosh.
remember it was so embarrassing. And, I was like I went home that night and I told my roommate, I was like, "Hey, dude, I think that was my first and my last day there." And then I went on to sell cell phones and I was like, "Okay, this is a little bit more my vibe." But,
That's so
so I have
funny.
the utmost respect for y'all in the service industry. So every time I'm out, whether it's at a bar or a restaurant, I always make sure I take care of people. And if the service is great, I'm like, extra care, you know, because I fucking respect that shit. I would say service industry and people that work in the hospital industry. Nurses, they're always on their feet. They're working 12 hours a day. They're putting up with shit that most people would never want to do.
Never
So
dream of.
yes, if you listen to this and you're a nurse or you're in the service industry, mad respect. Anyway, so you're working at this high end. You're serving fillets. What else?
Yeah, so it was just trying different things, to be honest. Started like a jewelry business.
Nice. What kind of jewelry?
I actually handmade it. It was
Oh,
all, honestly, mainly gold filled, really nice jewelry. So I'm someone who loves being creative. So that was kind of like a creative outlet and just kind of helped me understand just sales and marketing and things like that. What else? I swear I've done so many different things to finally like, okay,
this
I
is
need
your
it.
thing.
Yeah, because whenever I started off with real estate, I had the mindset like, oh, you need to put 20% down. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to go make money in order to do that. But I don't want to do a 9 to 5 job because I'm a very, very spirited person. I hate being confined. So I'm like, okay, well, I should go try this and I should go try that and I should go try this. It's like, in reality, all I really wanted to focus on was real estate, building my portfolio, building a empire. So yeah, a lot of trial and errors of different things, which I'm very blessed to experience. When I first got my first short-term rental, I had a viral video go off on TikTok, but then I also had investors come to me and ask like, "Hey, we love what you do. Can you do this for us?" So I would help them locate their property and design it for them, and then I would end up managing it. So I turned that into a design and management business and got so focused on that that I forgot, again, my end game is to build my own portfolio. So I just keep getting distracted with these other little things. And I finally understood the coaching, how important coaching is, and taking like online courses and really just being in the right rooms with the right people as well, and yeah, never really being afraid to ask questions or like, "Hey, love what you do. I want to do this. Can I follow you one day? Can I just see what you're doing?" Because that's how I got my first short-term rental. I I had
How
a
did you
real
get it? I'm
I had
curious.
a realtor friend in Scottsdale. She launched her property. It was exactly like what I wanted to do. I'm like, perfect. I'm just gonna shoot her a message. And I was also doing social that was another job I was doing, social media influencing. So I did a lot of like traveling blog as well. That was right when COVID happened. I kind of stopped that because really couldn't travel that much. So that was fun. But that also helped me gain the following I have as well. Again, blessing. So she actually gave
Question
me,
about that. I got
yeah.
a question about that. Do you feel like because you were growing a travel audience that was into the traveling, and then if you pivot over to like real estate investing and wealth content, do you feel like your engagement that hurts your engagement?
Yeah, I mean, it was a slow burn, I guess, of transitioning over, so I didn't really see too much of a difference, because the algorithm, Instagram changed so drastically compared to 4 years ago when it was just extremely easy to grow a following. It's pretty hard, but if you're consistent and you know what you're doing and you have viral videos, you know how to make those viral videos, yeah, and you bring value to people, you show that you can help them and you wanna help them and you're a trustworthy person, all of that wrapped into one, yeah, it's easy to gain a following.
Hey guys, real quick, the only way this show grows, the only way we continue to bring on bigger and better guests is if you guys rate, review, and share the show. So if you could take 2 seconds or the click of the thumb to review on Apple or Spotify, it will mean the world to me. But more importantly, we'll be able to reach more entrepreneurs and more real estate investors and help them build wealth through this podcast. Now back to the show. We started, and I say we, Parker and myself, and we're actually hiring a third content person soon, but we meet every week and we go over like our content stuff. But we started putting out a lot more content recently on like stuff that's not real estate investing. and not business. And we're like, let's just try it. We didn't know how it was going to go. But some of our better videos in terms of reach have been like just random topics.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of encouraging because at first I thought it had to be real estate investing or it had to be entrepreneurship. Otherwise, people wouldn't care. But we're doing like random videos now and they're doing pretty good. So that was kind of a limiting belief on my part,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so
100%.
I think the takeaway for any listeners out there is, if you want to create content, you want to post, I think that you should post and talk about content that you want to talk about. Otherwise it's not sustainable long term. If you're only putting out content because you think that's what your audience wants, but you don't want to talk about it, that's not sustainable long term.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like work. It's going to feel heavy. It's not going to feel light. So talk about what you want to talk, put it all out there, and that's going to be sustainable long term because you're putting something out there that you actually enjoy talking
Yeah.
about.
And so one thing with my social media too is that I would focus a lot on mental health. So traveling and mental health. So I kept that mental health in place as well. So you talked about like the transition. So I kind of just continued with the mental health, but now it's more of like my real estate stuff, what I'm doing, what I'm creating. This is my daily life of designing this property. Come along for the journey. It's going to be fun. But then, yeah, it's just, I've always dealt and struggled with anxiety and depression and, just battling through that. And it's been a long journey to finally kind of break free from that. But still, occasionally, like I'll have setbacks. But then I also love being vulnerable with my, friends on there, being open about my struggles. Because if I can help at least one person who's most likely going through something I've been through, going through suicidal thoughts and everything, if I can show them like, hey, it gets better, that's all I really care about. If that one post can hit that one person,
I love
and
that.
that's cool.
So to circle back, we digressed, and that was my fault. You were talking about how you were buying your first property, and you had a piece of content on the first property go viral on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
And then what? And then what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, question for you though on that. What was it about that piece of content that made it go viral?
Honestly, it was just being me. It was just like, hey, this is man, we should have just had like the B-roll of it. No, it's so
Yeah,
embarrassing.
let's
It's
reenact.
such
Let's reenact it
Oh my
right
gosh,
now.
it's such an embarrassing video now because I'm like, oh, it's so corny just going back. Everybody can go look at my TikTok and it's literally still it's actually getting views today, but it's pinned.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's still, I mean, that was 3 years ago when it went viral. But yeah, it was just a call to action like, hey, I'm finally chasing this dream of owning a short-term rental in Scottsdale. It's gonna be super girly and fun. Follow along with me. It's we have what there's one thing I said in there is we've had some difficult time setting this up. And
Mhm.
it was clipped to a video. I had to redo the entire plumbing of the house, which was very unexpected. Not the entire half of the plumbing. So I had a video of them like completely digging out inside the house, um, like the shower. You can see the dirt covering all
That
the
was in the hook.
floors.
That was in the hook. The first 3 seconds.
No, it wasn't in the hook, but it was probably like in 10,
Yeah.
20.
What was in the first 3 seconds?
It was just me saying hi and showing like, hey, I just started my first short-term rental. So yeah, I think that was the hook of just like, come along with
Yeah.
me.
That
And it's
it's
like, again,
it's
this
nice
was
being a
back
good looking
in
girl. You can just be like, "I'm a hook."
hi.
For me, like I'm not a good looking girl, so like my hooks have to be very creative. Otherwise, people are just like scrolling.
Oh, I guess,
That's good.
yeah.
That's
But
good.
again, this was when TikTok first started. Like, again, it was so much easier back in like 3 years ago to gain that following and like, just easier to go viral as well. Yeah, so oh, you can't have rainbows without a little rain. That was my
Oh,
corny, like,
that was like
tagline in there or
that
whatever,
was at the end of the
quote.
video.
That was in the video,
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so it was fun. And the cool thing about it, before I even finished the property, I was like, "Okay, on March 1st, I'm going to, list it on Airbnb." Within a week, almost my entire summer was booked up
Mhm.
every weekend
Wow, that's
just because of
amazing.
that video, and I didn't even have all the pictures for the property.
That's so
So,
cool.
power of social media, man.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. So, So that was the first one, and now you got a few, and you did a couple sub two deals with Pace. I see you on a couple of his Instagram reels that you guys did a collab on, and one of them was a property that you had just bought via sub two. Tell me about that, and how much money out of pocket was it to get that deal?
Yeah, so it's a sub 2 hybrid. Found that deal from a unicorn realtor. So I had a girl that I was friends with just searching on the MLS and even
What's a
like
unicorn realtor?
unicorn realtor is someone who understands creative financing
Got it.
and can help break the ice
Okay,
on that.
got it. Break
And
the ice, like ice.
yes, we have my friend Ice in here with us too.
That's
That's what he's referring to. But yeah, so she sent me the property and called the agent because it was still on it was off market, but on market. Talked to the agent, was writing up an offer and went under contract with someone else. So I was like, okay, just built up that relationship. Like, hey, if you have anything else that's like this, or like if the thing were to happen, just let me know. I'm wanting to buy ASAP. And 2 weeks later, he calls me back, like, hey, you still interested? I'm like, sure. So wrote up the offer, negotiated terms. So basically, I was taking over the payments of his current mortgage, and we negotiated to do a seller finance because instead of putting what I think it was $260,000 down, I only had to technically put $50,000 down, and he ended up paying the realtor on that side and then pocketed the rest. And so I got a PML to cover that $50,000 for me. And so I technically had zero money out of pocket. Besides, I could have asked the PML to cover all the furnishings. It was it was a Airbnb. So it was a failed Airbnb
Why
because
was it feeling?
terrible design, like just super basic. The furniture was not good at all, and then the management was really, really, really bad. Like, when I went over there, there was still it was dog hair everywhere on the furniture still, like, after they cleaned it. There was the smell of poop and pee on the turf outside. Like, if you're a guest and you're coming to that property, like, you're gonna just get bad reviews, bad reviews. They actually ended up getting kicked off Airbnb.
Oh my gosh, that's
I didn't
crazy.
find that out until after when Airbnb kicked me off for a couple days saying, "Hey, send us documents saying that you're the new owner or we're not gonna let you back in." I was freaking out for a hot minute. But
That's
then
crazy.
yeah, I was pissed because they didn't tell me what was going on at all. Like the previous owners didn't tell me. And so I just had to call Airbnb and they're like, "Oh, we just need documents." I'm like, "Thanks." 3 hours later.
It's scary when Airbnb does that. Yeah, we've had all of our listings taken down before, and
Stop.
at the time, I want to say I had 35 short-term rental listings, and I think it was only on the short-term rental side, so this is not including the hotels. We had like 35-ish short-term rental listings, and Airbnb just like took us down, no reason at all. It's just like no access to anything. I think the only thing we had access to was like guest communication with the guests that were in the properties, and that was it. But we couldn't like market to like new listings or new reservations or any of that stuff. And you call Airbnb, and like there's no one that like answers the phone and says, "Hey, this is Airbnb. How can we help you?" Like it's like a bunch of automations, and then by the time you finally get a hold of someone, it's like a VA in the Philippines. They don't speak much English, and it's just like, and they'll be like, "Hey, we can get you back up and running, but the person that's, managing your accounts is not in till after the weekend. So we have to wait 2 or 3 days. We'll give you a call back. And then if you don't pick up their one call of the day, that's it. And they'll try again 24 hours later. And it's like, it was pretty frustrating.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
This is
frustrating.
probably like 2.5 years ago. But after that, I was like, okay, we got to do something about it. So since then we have like multiple accounts, and then we also are on a lot more platforms now. So it's not all eggs in one basket type of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was just gonna touch on, having that importance of, having multiple sources people can book through, and that's something I'm trying to build up too, is having my own, just hosting site that my guests can specifically, or not even guests, but my followers on my, I guess, the Dreamhouse Instagram account, they can easily just book through my direct site at a discount. But yeah, it kind of just having that outlet that they can go to instead of if this were to happen. Yeah.
So, question for you. So, you got into this not too long ago. What would you say to a listener out there that wants to get into real estate investing? Would you recommend that they buy a short-term rental, or would you recommend they get in the sub two game and try to get into something for low, no money down? Should they go buy a hotel? What's your suggestion there?
Honestly, I think it really just starts with what is your dream and what's your goal, you know? And what's your financial situation? Like, do you have a W-2? Can that help acquire a property? Do you want to stay locally? Do you want to have big cash flow? Do you have any partners? There's so much, but I would say start off getting a community. Being a part of like the sub two community. I'm also part of another group. It's called REIN, Women's Real Estate Investing Network, which I absolutely love as well. It's a lot of older women starting off their real estate journeys as well, but there's also a lot of good private money lenders in there. So bouncing off with between the sub two and those that community, having people to ask, "Hey, what would you do in this situation?" or even partnering with them or even shadowing them. You know, the real estate journey is just so daunting because there's so much you could do. Like that's honestly, I got analysis paralysis for the last 3 years trying to invest because I was like, "Oh, I have to wholesale. I have to wholesale. I have to wholesale. I have to, you know, build up this cash in order to invest in these properties." And that's such a lie. You don't. It's again, it's what do you want? What is your goals? What's your visions? My vision was to have these short-term rentals. So that's what I'm focusing on. Build legacy wealth, more so on the boutique hotels. That's where I'm going to focus on that.
I see a lot of stuff out there saying that the Airbnb stuff is oversaturated. Do you agree with that?
Yes. But here's the thing. What are you going to do to stand out from the crowd? You know, I think you need to be really smart with your purchase. You can't just look at someone's property and be like, oh, they're doing that. Well, they probably bought at a different time as well. So you need to really run your numbers, make sure you're safe and secure to be stable through like the first years kind of, can be rough a little bit until you really like, build up, your reviews if you're just starting this out on your own. But yeah, like what if your property is literally the best property in the area? You have that pickleball court, you have that basketball court, you have a game room, you have a sauna in there, and your next door neighbors doesn't. And you're probably like a couple hundred more than that property next to you. Who's going to get booked first?
Mhm.
It's what you offer.
Totally.
So that's how you break free from the saturation. You offer more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the more cookie cutter properties that we manage, that are 3 or 4 bedroom properties, not unique. They're the ones that are not performing the greatest right now. But the ones that are unique, like my luxury property in Scottsdale that has the pickleball court, the speakeasy, the gym, and all the amenities, that one's cranking. That one
Yeah,
just
I
did
love that one
that
so
one just
much.
did
It's
like
so cool. You showed me that yesterday.
yeah, yeah. That one did almost 290,000 in the last 3 months alone. So some of those unique ones are cranking. It doesn't have to be a large property like that. It could be something smaller, but just has a unique element to it. And I think the design is everything. Like what you're doing, I love what you're doing with the Dreamhouse girl, and it's a unique experience. So I think the takeaway for listeners is like if you're going to get in the game, yes, it is oversaturated in a lot of markets, but use that to your advantage. And there's a lot of data out there as well. There's sites out there where you can kind of see what bedroom counts are optimal in whatever market. So if X market has a ton of 4 bedroom properties, but doesn't have many 5 or 6 bedroom properties, then you should go get a 5 or 6 bedroom property, right?
Love that you just stated that because I just sent basically my buy box to my friend yesterday. I'm like, I'm not buying another Scottsdale property unless it's 5 plus. Because I looked up the numbers. Well, probably shouldn't say this on here
Oh,
so I
I
can,
tell all my secrets.
right?
Let's
Yeah.
I agree. And if you don't have a pool in Scottsdale, like you're gonna get crushed.
No, don't even buy. Like,
Yeah.
don't.
You're gonna
Like,
get ran over.
unless you can get your numbers and do like doing something creative. Like I do love creative financing. Love it because of what you can negotiate with that, especially if it's a struggling homeowner who needs help. Like that's even better. But yeah, if you can really make your numbers work. I know interest rates are on the high, so that's kind of where I'm focusing on is more on creative deals at this point to be able to cash flow more. And who knows what the future looks like to refinance out of that or whatever, but
Here's another tip for the listeners. So if you are out there listening to this and you are interested in buying a short-term rental, we manage in 8 markets around the country. San Diego by far is the best market that we manage in. You don't have to push and pull on these listings. They just stay full year round. And there's an opportunity right now because there's still about 750 licenses left with the city of San Diego. Once they're gone, there's not going to be any more issued. And they just slashed the supply from like 16,000 down to 5,500. I don't know if people are sleeping behind the wheel or what, but it's a massive opportunity for someone out there to come in and pick up a short-term rental license before they're all gone. And, like I said, I'm bullish on this market. I think this market's going to double in the next 12 to 15 years. And so if you can find a nice asset in a good location here, it's going to crank, it's going to print money every single month. You get to do a cost seg study, you get to depreciate all of that income. So you won't pay taxes on that money. And then that property is going to double in the next 12 to 15 years. You're going to make $1 million bucks. So there's my tip of the day.
okay. So how can you help me find a good location and we can
I'll
do a
help
San
you.
Diego dream house out here?
I'll help you.
Because that's been like literally that San Diego has been one of my
Let's do it right
top,
now.
yeah, let's do it.
How much money you have to work with? Down payment.
A lot.
Okay.
It's
What are we
kind of
talking?
what's a lot? Honestly, I have amazing partners.
Okay.
So as long as I can just present the deal and the numbers to them, I'm blessed
So
with
there's a lot of good markets out here, neighborhoods. I would say something close to the 5 freeway or west of the 5. So I would say Bayho, Bay Park, Mission Hills is really good. I think that's underbought right now. But it's close to the airport, it's close to Little Italy, it's close to the water, and it has good views. And I think that neighborhood will definitely double the next 12 years. I'm actually buying a 4-bedroom there right now that I'm under contract on, and I'm excited for that one. Bankers Hill is also really undervalued right now. It's right on the other side of the freeway from Little Italy, but you can walk downtown, close to airport. So people that fly in, it's like right there. I would say those 4 areas are good. Linda Vista, you could do that. I have one in Linda Vista that's really good. But these are markets that are like these are areas that are like gentrifying, but still in great locations. And I think to have the best opportunity to double in the next 12 to 15 years, and still close to the airport, the water, in like San Diego Zoo and all the amenities that we have here, SeaWorld, all that sort of stuff. So, and then I don't know, size, I don't think there's any correlation. Like I have a 2-bedroom condo here that does really well. I have a 3-bedroom historic building here in Little Italy with Tommy. That one cranks. And then we're doing the 4-bedroom in Mission Hills. And then I have a couple in Linda Vista, and those are like different sizes. But I don't think the size matters too much in San Diego. These things just stay full year round. I even have a studio in Linda Vista that just like year round. It's just like we literally run 100%. There's not one vacant night the entire year.
yeah,
It's
San
crazy. It's
Diego.
crazy.
Such a great tourist area for sure. So we'll circle back around on this
Okay.
for sure because
Okay.
it's gonna happen.
And you can get a DSCR loan. There's a lot of lenders out there that will do these non-QM products. You can get them for, 15, 20, 25% down. I'm doing one right now, the one in Mission Hills. The seller is carrying $150,000 in second position. And we're doing a DSCR non-QM product in first for 75%. And then she's carrying another 10. So I'm getting in for like 15% down, which is not too bad.
No, that's what
So
you know what Pace calls that, right? The Morby
what?
method.
The Morby method?
Yeah.
To have the
Yeah.
seller carry a little bit? I
Uh-huh.
like
To like
that.
basically, yeah, to DSCR loan like that in the second
I
position.
like that.
I
I'm
don't
gonna have to
know.
come up with
It's
my own
cool.
name.
Yeah,
But
there you
shout out
go.
to Pace.
Create a different
I'm a big fan of Pace.
I know. He's literally the coolest dude.
Yeah, it's
Like
great.
such an amazing mentor to have. And the fact that like being in the community, I've only been in there since September. And to have him actually know me, and it seems like he truly cares about my success, like
Mhm.
me wanting, helping me grow and be successful. And like, it's nice to have. It's really rare to find that in like mentorships where this is like joining the sub 2 community. Again, it's like joining the community. Yeah, there's a mentorship in there, but you're paying for the community. you're paying for hands-on constant training and to kind of run with one of the best, in my opinion. It's really, really
He
awesome
is one
how
of the best in the game, and, shout out to Pace. I look up to I'm always looking up to, like, 5 or 6 real estate entrepreneurs, content creators in the space because that's how you grow, right? That's how Kobe Bryant became one of the best is he studied Michael Jordan, he studied the greats, Magic Johnson, all these folks, and so I always study people that are above me, and one of the 5 or 6 that I look up to, one of them is Pace, and I love whenever I connect with him, I see how like, I hosted a meetup in Scottsdale at my property out there, and we kinda co-hosted it, and we had, like, 300 people out there, and just, like, the way he interacts with everyone, he gives back, or if we go to these conferences and he's speaking, a lot of speakers will go hang out in the back room, the green room until they have to go speak, and then they leave, but Pace will literally, not hang out in the green room, he will just hang out in the hallways and just, like, chat and have genuine conversations with people. And I'm like,
he
that's so
loves
badass. I love that.
connecting,
I love
yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's all about the community, and that's what I love about Pace. But anyways, I'm a fan of you and everything that you're doing. I think you're crushing the brand. I appreciate you coming out to hang out. I know you're going to be at the meetup tonight. So super thrilled about that. We got Amanda Hahn coming into town. We got Avery Carl coming into town. And our last meetup, we had the biggest turnout we had yet. We had over 230 people. In this one, I'm trying to push 300. We're trying to fill the building and pack the house. And so I'm excited for us. If you are a listener and you want to come out to San Diego, we'd love to host you second Wednesday of every month. And although today is the 15th, it's the third Wednesday of the month. But usually we do it on the second Wednesday of the month. You can go to my Instagram and hit the link and get our newsletter and subscribe so you can be up to date with all of our meetups. We had our first yacht meetup last Saturday. We're going to have the next one, I believe, June 22nd. So be sure to come out sometime. We'd love to host all you guys and gals that are listening. But that said, Bree, I appreciate you coming on. How can the folks get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you ever wanted a partnership or to have a property that could probably fit my Dreamhouse brand, yeah, hit me up. The Dreamhouse Girl on Instagram, TikTok, yeah, all over the place. And
What's your Instagram? The
the
Dreamhouse Girl?
Dreamhouse
At the
Girl,
Dreamhouse
yeah,
Girl. I love
I'm
it. I
Brie,
love it.
aka
Nice and
Dreamhouse
easy.
Girl. Yeah, super easy. Kind of just playing on that and keeping the sticking to the Dreamhouse brand.
There it is. Listeners, go shoot her a follow. She's a Bree Fleschner. I'm Rich Summers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.